and Slava Medvedenko!
The War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas, issue number 3 of a 4-parter. I'm digging the villain who can take care of fire weaponry more than I'm appreciating the food that's being shouted out in this comic. Spam, a Chinese pear that they were talking about earlier. That's just the writer who's Korean himself putting in his thing, trying to appeal. It's forced, unnatural, it's just in there. It's just in there for the sake of being in there to appeal to the Korean audience. It's very transparent, so I don't like that. If it served the story, I'd like it a whole lot more. But it was just, I smell something. Is that? And apparently all Koreans like it. That's not even like my biggest problem with this comic. Dude is named Swordmaster. Shang-Chi disarms him. His name again is Swordmaster. Whole bunch of new characters. Too many new characters for me. I think like 5 of these are actually, this is their first appearance. They're brand new. There's the Luna, there's, I don't even know their names. There's Arrow, there's Wave, there's the Swordmaster I just mentioned. Who I heard a couple of these Asian, they're all Asian, characters debuted in a mobile app. And if you played Marvel Strike Force, then you're already familiar with blah, 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 blah. No, doesn't work for me. This is their first appearance. And then there's characters I don't know. This is the page that did me in. We've got Kodek, the not new Avengers, the Future Avengers. Never heard of the Future Avengers. Which is also a sign. It's like, okay, who's the new Agents of Atlas? Who were the old Agents of Atlas? Never heard of that team either. There's 3 teams in Marvel. Fantastic Four, then came the X-Men, then came Avengers. I don't even know the order, but they all started in the 60s, written by Stan Lee. There is no 4th place. Who, West Coast Avengers? There's no 4th place team. They're champions. Maybe now, but let's see if they stand the test of time. Every other, like, West Coast Avengers is a punchline. The Young Avengers is a punchline. I guess the New Avengers were the Avengers, so that don't really count. But like, what's going on, man? Like, wow, this is the future of the New Agents of Atlas. All these people. Red Feather, he's from the Triumph Division in Manila. What's the Triumph Division? This is your future. The Monkey King. He's on the team called Ascendants that operate in Beijing. Why the fuck, Greg Pak, would you write new characters, new Asian characters? Okay, I get it that you want to be represented and you want. There are already these people who exist. Push them. Don't make new material that will end in the recycling bin. Don't. It's like, why have an over. I know it's going to look good on the Asian Heritage Month. I don't even know which month that is, but it probably is one. Asian Heritage Month, some artist is going to draw all the Asian characters, and you're going to tweet it, and then it's going to be a moment of proudness that maybe some board members are going to see that. But the comic book reader, they're going to see like a collage of their own. It's called the comic book rack, and they're going to see X-Men, they're going to see Batman. I'll stick it to Marvel. They're going to see all the Marvel comics, and any Asian that's here is on a team or is secondary. Braun, who's a Champions character, Braun over here, he's got the Hulk power. He's not even secondary, tertiary. He wasn't even in the last issue of Champions, probably because he's in here. He's on the cover of this. Great, awesome. But no one's going to respect him. The writer, Greg Pak, gave him the Hulk power, Amadeus Cho. Someone already invented him years before. But what he did with Braun is what I'm saying you should have done with Red Feather. You shouldn't have created Wave or Crescent or a lot of names that I don't know. What's the Hawaiian one? I don't know her name. Luna. What's the one with the bear that talking to the one that's a wolf, talking about what you talk? Well, you talk. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's good. As a comic book, in itself, 7 out of 10, good read, enjoyable. The threat that they're facing, the team aspect, it's great. I just know that every new character introduced here is not going to stand the test of time. I'm never going to read these guys. They have, sorry I do that. I start a point and I won't finish. The next month's solicitations that preview the new comics have an Arrow and a Wave comic book, like an original series. These books will not sell. You're dividing your fan base, who maybe there's an Asian audience who were like, let's pick up New Agents of Atlas and see if it can, let's support our own. Let's see us people that look this way be forced and presented in a positive light rather than the stereotypical, I don't even have to get into them. That would be great if we could be superheroes too. they are not gonna pick up between two. You're dividing your audience. It's not gonna sell well. I will be proven correct. The reason I picked up New Agents of Atlas was because it advertised there will be a new character called Wave. Apparently, there's like 5 new characters in this comic book who I've never heard of. I knew who Silk was. She's a Korean American. I just think that having a whole bunch of characters who the thing they have in common is their geography is not a reason to sell books. It will never be successful. They're all from the same part of the world, and that's not. It won't work. And I'll offer the counter argument. Well, how many superheroes are from New York? That's the same place. That's very true. The short answer to that is they all have their own comic book. They are not part of a team. Look, when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby started inventing most of these characters, Steve Ditko, like these are New York-based people. The writers will write what is in their head. So naturally, hey, that Steve Rogers dude's from Brooklyn. How about Spider-Man? Okay, we'll make him from Queens. A little bit of diversity. Then they went all out and they created the X-Men. They're upstate New York, West Coast Avengers. That even when they were international, it was just the Canada that we got Alpha Flight. Like no one was thinking broad. I think Captain Britain was created for business purpose. Not that this isn't a business reason. Of course, they see what's happening with manga being so huge. That's the Japanese comic books. If you didn't know that, they want to tap into that. Hey, and we have these characters. Business decision, fine. And it is a business where you're trying to sell books, like Second Street Marvel, the YouTuber always also says. But I still think that this is the wrong way of going about it. It will fail 100%, 1,000 million gazillion %. I'm not going to pick up Arrow or the new comic book for any of these dudes. I'll just let it die out. Like you have Braun, you put him on the champions. Let's let that seed grow into something before we start introducing more Asians. I know it's wrong of me to say that. I'm very aware, but it's the ugly truth. You are advertising an Asian hero one at a time. It's completely a negative way of thinking, but that's how it is seen as. This is an Asian character that they're doing over there at Marvel. Get it over. Let's get it popular. Sorry, I'm using wrestling terminology. Let's get it popular. Look, Shang-Chi is probably the guy I would have chosen. Because of the MCU. Look, a lot of you guys got to realize that the MCU is the billion-dollar money maker. This is the source material that will turn into a movie eventually. Knowing that Shang-Chi will have a movie next year, as it's rumored, but I'm acting like I'm certain about it. It's rumored. We should be doing a Shang-Chi comic book. Have Shang-Chi show up on the Avengers. There's a round table. They left one chair open, they said. And they said, well, whoever wants to help. Right now, Blade, the vampire hunter, is occupying that chair. Maybe when they're done fighting the vampires, we'll need a hand-to-hand combatant. Let's go make a call to Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is the one you got to be focusing on it and raising his stock to the readers, because he's going to be a movie, and eventually that movie will trickle down and turn into comic book sales. So we might as well remind the audience. Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi. Not Wave or the Hawaiian Goddess or any of these losers, these jobbers, these cruiserweights. The WWE has a roster of cruiserweights. They wrestle on a show called 205 Live. They are better than they're better than Roman Reigns. I'll name another wrestler. They're better than Elias, the Drifter, the guy who plays the guitar. But because he can play the guitar and do some acting, he gets the Vince McMahon push. These dudes are better. These characters, they sound like they're a whole lot better than the generic. What Steve Rogers? Everything special about him came out of a bottle. Like everything. Spider-Man, he got bit by a spider. Like they're so normal. These guys have interesting stories. The problem is they're all bungled up and not given the respect that they deserve. They're put in a poor TV show, 205 Live, and no one's gonna rate it. It's a recipe for failure. And here's the kicker. The final page of this comic book acts like everything Chillmonger just said is not true. It says, Atlas forever.